16 your final score as the Eagles fall to the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field after starting 3-0 and then not able to get the lead after that. Green Bay taking off. The Eagles making a push there, but unable to get the job done against Aaron Rodgers and this Packers offense that was firing on all cylinders today. Thanks for joining us here on the postgame show presented by Ricoh. Amy Campbell joined by Fran Duffy and Ike Reese. We have plenty to break down from this one today, guys, and of course what everyone's going to be talking about. Jalen Hurts comes in the third quarter and finishes out the game at quarterback for the Eagles. We will evaluate his performance. I'm sure everyone's going to be really interested to hear what Coach Peterson has to say when he is taking the podium. We will carry that live right here on this show. But guys, let's get into the big picture thoughts. Fran, what do you take away from this one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Carson Wentz has not played well, right? I mean, there's no getting around that. And the first part of this game, the first half and change, was more the same, right? We saw a lot of sacks. It was just, the offense just not being able to move the ball consistently. So the team offered, a little bit of a change up here, putting the rookie quarterback in to see what he can do. Look, he completed 5 of 12 attempts. He threw the pick there at the end. We did see him get rid of the football. We saw him create with his legs. So we saw some good things. We saw some bad. I'm interested to go back and watch the film tomorrow morning.
Yeah, there's certainly going to be plenty to look at on that film. Ike, I want to come to you now. Same question. What are your overall thoughts as we'll get into the details, but just big picture, what's your takeaway from this game?
Well, just a tough game. I mean, pretty much what we've watched this offense do since they returned from the bye week. What is that, 4 straight games now, where the offense just seemed to struggle. Even though they came out on that opening drive and they were able to get 3 points, the fact of the matter is they weren't able to get 7 points. And then the next time down, you had a bad sack taken there and where you were knocked out of field goal range. And from that point on, you pretty much didn't have anything going on that side of the football. I thought the defense held in there as best they could, as long as they could. Aaron Rodgers did what Aaron Rodgers typically does, which is find Davante Adams, which is find his open receivers. He's arguably the best thrower of the football that the game has ever seen. And when you don't get pressure on Aaron Rodgers, he's going to make you pay. And that's what you saw. You saw the Green Bay Packers pretty much have control of this game until late in that fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter, where Jalen Hurts was inserted into the game for the first time, and he was able to provide a spark with some off-schedule plays. He's been able to use his legs and athleticism. And then you saw Rager with a nice punt return for a touchdown, but just too little, too late in that game. And this game really boiled down to another slow start and the inability of the offense to really get anything going early in this game.
That was a 77-yard return for a touchdown for the rookie wide receiver, Jalen Reagor there. Let's go over to Dave Spadaro now. And Dave, look, a lot to be taken from this game. Of course, the Jalen Hurts storyline is going to be something probably people are talking about all week, but we saw Aaron Rodgers and this Packers offense do what they do, continue to be explosive. They score 30 points. They dominate almost every category, more than 400 yards of offense. Aaron Rodgers scores his 400th touchdown pass. Davante Adams, 2 touchdowns, more than 100 yards for him. What's kind of your big takeaway from this one?
It's about Jalen Hurts. It's about the quarterback situation. Eagles defense, 4-man rush. I wanted to see more pressure. I wanted to see mix them up a little bit. Jim Schwartz decided to instead play coverage, and that was a tough call. I mean, it's very difficult to do anything against Aaron Rodgers, but to me, it was so noticeable when Jalen Hurts went in the game, the energy level, the speed, the tempo of this football team, not only on offense, defense, special teams, everybody just seemed to play with more energy. And the throw he made to Greg Ward for the touchdown, 4th and 18, rolling away from pressure for a rookie in that situation, that's an exceptional throw. That's an exceptional play. Cool, got the ball out there, nice arm strength. I don't know what is going to happen here. I am not speaking for the Philadelphia Eagles here, but I would be very surprised if Jalen Hurts is not the starter next week against the New Orleans Saints. The Giants won today in Seattle. Big upset for them. They have a game-and-a-half lead on the Eagles. It's not about the division right now, okay? It's about who's giving you the best chance at quarterback. It's Jalen Hurts after watching Carson Wentz struggle yet again. I think it's time to give the kid a chance. See what he can do with a week of preparation against the Saints. Again, that is my opinion. We'll see what Doug Peterson says. He may be non-committal after the game, but it was the big takeaway for me was how clear it was, the level of energy that picked up around this football team when Jalen Hurts came into the game.
Dave, I'm interested to just kind of get your thoughts. I mean, you kind of just laid out there how you feel about how this could go over the course of the next few days. I mean, we're all going to be staying tuned to listen to what Doug Peterson says after this game. I'll be interested to see if that, does kind of change for tomorrow. As you said, might be non-committal, right here in the moment, but we're all going to be tuned in, listening right here on PhiladelphiaEagles.com in a few minutes for when Doug Peterson speaks.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And Fran, it may be non-committal. We're in the heat of the moment here. Doug is thinking about the loss, not about the future, not about the big picture. But I've been around here long enough to see quarterback changes. When is the right time? When is not the right time? We go back to 2008 when Donovan McNabb was benched. And then he came back in and played very well. But he wasn't in as long of a prolonged stretch of just poor play at the quarterback position. Carson Wentz, we have to at some point here in the weeks to come, the offseason, talk about what has happened to him this season. How do you get him back for 2021? The Eagles certainly want to rehabilitate and bring out the very best in Carson Wentz. But for right now, you're not seeing that. And I'm not sure in a short week how you're going to see that unless, I don't know the answer, but all I know is this. Again, when Jalen Hurts came into the game, it was a different feel. It was a different level of energy. It was a different level of tempo. And the production, all of a sudden, receivers were open. Jalen Reagor was open down the field. Greg Ward was open. The tight ends created separation. You just didn't see that for the last several weeks here with Carson Wentz at quarterback.
Yeah, Dave. I mean, obviously, this is going to be the number one topic. The Eagles fans have been certainly clamoring to get Jalen Hurts out there on the field in some sort of extensive action. This is the first time we've gotten a chance to watch him in extensive action. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is a 20-3 game with nothing to lose. It was a long shot for them to win this game. He went out there, he provided a spark, he was able to move around and make some off-schedule throws. I thought the same issues that plagued Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts saw some of those things. The big difference was Jalen Hurts certainly is a much better athlete at the quarterback position. And maybe that does give you a little bit of a spark. It's a different defense they're going to be facing next week, arguably the best in pro football with the New Orleans Saints. The Eagles right now, the big question is, what do you have at quarterback? And although it looked good for 7 minutes out there, I think we still are a long way away from finding out who's the quarterback moving forward. But it was nice to see Jalen Hurts out there in some extensive action, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm, again, big picture here. I'm in the heat of the moment, too, looking at that game and feeling like, hey, if I'm in that locker room, Mike, I mean, you take me into the locker room, okay? You're a player. You felt the difference out there when Jalen Hurts came into the game. What would your expectation be as a player? Would you just accept either quarterback? I'm sure, but it did to you, Ike. Did it not feel different out there when Jalen went in?
Yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, you noticed it, and you're exactly right. He provided a different level of energy, a new spark, and players feed off of that. I mean, players are human as well. And so when you get a guy in there with some fresh energy and he's giving you the opportunity to make plays, and then you see positive things happen, players respond to that. And immediately you saw the punt return for a touchdown from Jalen Reagor. Those things are real. But the big question is that this coaching staff, starting with the head coach, is going to have to figure out, is that something that just happened in a vacuum at the end of a game where you got the Green Bay Packers who weren't prepared for Jalen Hurts, who are also playing a little bit of an umbrella defense because you got a 20-3 lead? That's different than a guy being game planned for and having to be out there for an entire game. So for the players, you're certainly right. The energy was provided. The spark was provided. I'm just wondering, is it sustainable for 4 quarters when you go out there against the New Orleans Saints next week?
And that's understood, Ike, but I'll tell you this. If you are Doug Peterson, you have to take into account, right, like what's happened here through 12 games and what's happened to this offense with Carson Wentz. I mean, it's not – you're also – I get it. Look, the Saints are going to – whoever the quarterback is, the Saints are going to have a week to prepare for that quarterback. But the way that Carson has played, the way the offense has responded, that has to be taken into consideration also.
Dave, what were your thoughts just on seeing Jalen? We talked about Jalen Reagor. Let's start Jalen Hurts. Let's talk about Jalen Reagor. What were your thoughts seeing him break one? We saw the biggest play of his young career.
Finally, the big return game, the Eagles have just been unable to get anything going in the return game. To see Jalen Reagor do that, you understand why the Eagles loved him so much in the draft. As a return man, getting down the field in the pass game, he was open, had a nice catch from Jalen Hurts. So very encouraging to see those two young players, the two Jalens, really step up in a moment where the Eagles need energy. I mean, my gosh, where is this offense going? Where are they getting big plays? And a play like Jalen Reagor makes really goes a long way to boosting his confidence, to making him feel better, and to having him be more productive in the offense and on special teams. So loved what I saw from Jalen Reagor, albeit in a losing cause.
Well, Dave, as always, we appreciate your thoughts. We appreciate your insight. I know we'll all be keeping a close eye on Coach Peterson's press conference coming up here in a little bit. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right, guys.
All right, Ike, I want to get back to you here with your takeaways. Let's get to the first thing that really stood out to you. Is it Jalen Hurts related?
Well, no, it's actually Carson Wentz and the first team offense related. Obviously, Wentz was the only one that the change happened when Jalen Hurts came in. But for basically 3 quarters, the offense was lifeless out there, unable to sustain drives, unable to protect the quarterback, unable to get anything going. Even when they had a little bit of momentum, like the first drive, you're only able to get 3 points out of that drive. And then you have a 3rd and 11, and you're in Packer territory, and you're in field goal range, and you dial up a play, and there's a sack to where you're sacked out of field goal range, so you get nothing out of that. Right? So it's just some of the same things that we've been seeing over the last 4 weeks since the Eagles have come back from the bye week, that the offense just failed to provide any type of energy plays out there, any type of big plays. And this game was hanging there in the balance, waiting for something to happen, and they couldn't get anything going. Where was the running game for the first 2.5 quarters? Only 9 rushing attempts in the first half. It's just like that first drive, I saw movement. I saw getting the quarterback outside the pocket. And after that, it seemed like the offense was very redundant when you look at the sort of passing plays that were there. So just nothing there from a spark being provided from that offense for about 3 quarters.
Well, and we talked about that in the pregame show, the importance of not only starting fast, but also scoring points in the first half. The Packers, one of the best teams in the NFL at first half points. The Eagles towards the bottom of the NFL in first half points. So you mentioned it at halftime, it's 14-3, the Eagles trailing. The Eagles in their last 4 games have scored a total of 12 points in the first half. So continuing to be plagued by those slow starts there. Even though we did see them come out and strike first, followed by the defense also starting with the 3 and out. So you start to feel like, okay, they're putting it a little bit together on both sides here, but you mentioned only 9 rushing attempts for Philadelphia in the first half as well. Fran, what did you see from the offense? It did really feel like there was, we have the first half plus a little bit of that third quarter to evaluate, and then the Jalen Hurts coming in is a little bit of a different feel to the game, like Spuds talked about. But what did you see kind of early on there that I touched?
I thought the first quarter was kind of the formula, right? Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the blueprint, I feel like, coming in, because, I think Green Bay ran 4 plays or 5 plays in the first quarter. The Eagles were able to possess the football. They had the run game going. A lot of the throws for Carson Wentz were well-defined. They moved the pocket a little bit. You had a couple things going. You were able to move the football. You just couldn't finish drives, as Ike alluded to. So as they got behind the sticks, that second drive where, they had a penalty, now it's 1st and long. You have a little bit of a run play. That now you're in 2nd and long, and now you take 2 sacks in a row, the second one taking you out of field goal range. And after that, it was all kind of following that same script where they just could not move the ball with consistency, and that ultimately led to the change of quarterback.
Well, and you talk about both of those sacks, Fran. The offensive line gave up 7 sacks in this game. Doug Peterson, through Tracy Wolfstein, the sideline reporter for the game, did say that they were not all on the offensive line. They were not all on the quarterback. They were not there. That each one, of course, has different blame to go around. But still, 7 sacks, 4 on Carson Wentz, 3 on Jalen Hurts. You're getting hit that many times. I think there's really only so much an offense can do. And look, we saw more injuries to that offensive line as well. Jason Peters going out with, I believe it was a foot or an ankle injury. He's also been banged up this season. season and just continuing to just rotate different bodies in on that offensive line. I mean, that has to take a toll on an offense after a season like this. Wouldn't you say so, Fran?
Absolutely. I mean, it's more the same. It's the same thing we've been saying. It's been 11 different combinations to start 12 different games. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a 12th to start 13 games starting next week. I guess we'll wait to find out.
Well, and there is no team in the NFL that is dealing with that kind of injuries to a unit that is that important. So it should not be something that is overlooked in these conversations when we talk about the struggling offense. All right, Ike, what else stood out to you from this one?
Well, now we can get to the hot topic of the game, and that's the Jalen Hurts effect and what he had on this offense, and providing a little bit of excitement for Eagle fans and his teammates the last quarter or so of this game. Now, the great thing about being a backup quarterback when you're coming in a game that's seemingly already decided is that you don't have any pressure on you. You can go out there and just perform, just play, relax. This was his first extensive action. This was like a preseason game for Jalen Hurts, with the exception the nation was watching. And I thought he conducted himself very well out there. Listen, everything wasn't perfect. That's to be expected in his first extensive action. But the one thing I liked about what I saw from Jalen Hurts is that there seemed to be a calmness about his game. He didn't seem frenetic out there, even when he was under duress, even when the pocket was collapsing around him. He didn't seem as if he was panicking, and he was able to find some of those escape routes and extend some plays and pick up the first down. And we obviously know his first touchdown pass of his career was a nice job by him, stepping up in the pocket, escaping to the right, using that athleticism, but more importantly, keeping his eyes downfield. It's 4th and 18. He knows it doesn't make any sense for him to take off. So there is the intelligence that he has at the position to understand to keep his eyes down the field, and he's able to find Greg Ward going through that zone, and he's able to drop a dime on him for a touchdown. You got to like what you saw from Jalen Hurts in his first extended action as a pro football player. A lot to learn from, and I guarantee that the Eagles coaching staff, they feel good because now they have something, they have what we call teaching tape. There's enough plays there that now they can get a real gauge, or a somewhat better gauge, of some of the things he can do and some of the things that he can't do. But you also know he also had to deal with what Carson Wentz has been dealing with for 12 weeks, which is the protection isn't going to hold up, and you better be able to make some plays with your legs. He was sacked 3 times in just a quarter. Just a little bit over a quarter. He was sacked 3 times in this game. Wentz sacked 4 times. But I still like what I saw from Jalen Hurts out there tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a great point about the poise. And what impressed me most about him was that touchdown pass on 4th and 18, especially after you get the OPI on Alshon Jeffrey there, to be able to just erase that from the short-term memory, shake it off, 4th and 18, just escaping the pressure. Super poised, super calm touchdown pass to Greg Ward. I thought that calmness from a rookie quarterback in his, in his rookie year, big time at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers to get your first passing touchdown. I really liked the poise and the calm, especially again after that penalty that was called, the OPI, just a play before that. Fran, what did you think about Hurts' performance? And I know you're going to look at the tape, but what are some of the things that stood out to you so far?
Yeah, a lot of things that Ike hit on, right? And we saw some good, we saw some bad, we saw some sacks, we saw the interception, we saw him kind of run around and be able to make plays. That can work for you, as we've seen with Carson Wentz. That can work for you, that can work against you at times. He was able to move the chains a number of times, both with his arm and with his legs, which is certainly a positive. You'd like the unflappable mentality with him, and that he was not hurt by what was happening around him from the penalties and things of that nature. That certainly is a good sign. Going to be plenty that they're going to be able to evaluate. It's good to be able to see practice film and get those kind of reps, but now they've got some meaningful snaps here in game action of him playing quarterback that they can go back and sit with him and go through the film. He can talk through that with his teammates as well. So all of that is good for his development.
What did you see, Fran, at first look on the Greg Ward touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't really see how the routes developed around it. So it's tough for me to really say. You couldn't really see the coverage. We didn't see a great replay of it, but certainly just his ability to step up with his eyes downfield and then make the throw, throw to an area and let Greg Ward go get it. That's a lot of good there to see on that play. I do want to be able to see the all-22 and get a sense of the coverage and the route concept and things of that nature. But from what we saw on TV, it looked pretty good.
Well, and I think one thing with Jalen Hurts and even especially that quarterback room, it's been a room here in Philadelphia where these guys are so supportive of each other. I mean, even back when Nick Foles was here and just all of the different dynamics and all of the storylines that have happened in this quarterback room, these guys are so supportive of each other. And I think it's really interesting. We're going to see how this develops in the coming weeks with Carson Wentz and with Jalen Hurts. But just what Jalen Hurts went through in college, losing his job to Tua Tagovailoa, not saying that's what's happening here, but somebody who really understands and can be supportive of a quarterback who may be going through some difficult things here. So I think that could be a really interesting dynamic, a good support for the two of them to be supportive to each other. All right, Ike, let's get to your next takeaway.
One I think we all should be excited about. Rookie first-round draft pick, Jalen Reagor. I mean, he showed up in this game. I know it didn't happen until late in the game, but the reason why they drafted him in the first round is because he had the ability to make big plays. So let's talk about the first play that he was able to make down the field when he hooked up with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he sees man-to-man coverage out there. Green Bay is bringing extra pressure. Corner out there does a terrible job of opening up his gate. And Jalen Reagor, give him credit. He's able to step on those DB's toes, make him open up that gate, and then he can use that speed to stack him and get on top of him. And Jalen Hurts put a nice ball out there in front that Jalen Reagor could run under and catch. That was a beautiful thing to watch. We've been looking for that explosive play. Hadn't seen it since week 1 against the Washington football team when he and Wentz hooked up. It was nice to see that. And then you saw him with the punt return. This is something that he also did at TCU, and he struggled with just being able to field punts, let alone make plays in the punt return game so far in his rookie season. So it was nice to see him catch that ball and get it to the house. It was a big play, got the Eagles back in the game within 1 score. That right there, 2 plays, it was exhibits of where Jalen Reagor displayed why the Eagles were so excited when they drafted him in the first round, because he has the ability to make big plays. And he also had a reverse where he ran it for like 11 or 12 yards today to pick up a first down. So he was one of the bright spots in this game where you said, okay, now we're starting to see something. And that punt return obviously was his biggest play of the season. So it was nice to see that from Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, that was a very exciting play. Of course, it's always really exciting when you see a punt return or kick return for a touchdown, and something that we had kind of been wondering when we were going to get that moment from Jalen Reagor. Like you said, Ike, we saw him do it in college. That's what he was brought here to do. And of course, he dealt with that injury and has been kind of getting his legs back under him, and something that we were kind of waiting for that moment. Like, we know he has it in him. Fran, I must confess, when I saw him drop that ball at first, I thought, oh my gosh, like, to me, a muffed punt, a muffed kick return, I'm like, there's no excuse. Catch the ball. Catch the ball. I get so mad when I see something like that. So I'm getting annoyed at him when I watch this. And then 2 seconds later, he's my favorite guy on earth because he takes it to the house in a very exciting fashion. So I thought it was really exciting. It was a time I missed watching the game in the presence of Ike Reese because I was kind of running around and pacing a little bit with excitement on that one. But Fran, what did you think of Reagor today?
You might miss watching the game with Ike in moments like that. My back does not miss that. I'm sure I would have gotten punched in the back of the head like 3 different times just on that one play. That being said, yeah, I mean, it was great to be able to see Jalen, break that long one, right? Just his ability to make those plays in the open field. He put that on display. Nice to see him track the football over the shoulder for that big play on 3rd down on that catch from Jalen Hurts. Well played ball there by the rookie quarterback. Good to see those 2 guys hook up. But look, I mean, we've seen Jalen Hurts in flashes here this year, going back as early as week 1 with that deep ball down the right sideline. He got hurt midseason. He's trying to work his way back. I'm excited to kind of look at the full sample size. That'll be one of the first things I do this offseason is just go back and watch every single one of his touches on offense and really kind of get a sense of how he developed throughout his rookie year. I'm excited to do it, excited to see what he can put on film over the next 4 weeks.
So we've spent a lot of time talking about the offense. I do want to talk about the Eagles defense. Ike, I thought there were some really big, impressive stops. And then there were also a lot of big plays. I mean, the Packers, like we said, at the end of the day, still did what they did, scored their 30 points, which is pretty much close to their average. This is the highest scoring team in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers now for his 400th touchdown pass, which I think we all have to tip our hat to a guy who's having a career like that. And then more than 400 yards, Davante Adams, again, doing what he does, more than 100 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, spreading the ball around to many different weapons. What did you, let's talk about the defensive performance. Like I said, some of those really big stops, but at the end of the day, the Packers were still able to kind of impose their will.
Yeah, I thought the Eagles defense for really the third week in a row, kept the team in the game, right? I mean, I know it got to 20-3, but this was one of those long fought games where, the Packers had to really work for every blade of grass that they got in the first half. I mean, anytime you make the Packers go on a 14-play drive, that's something that, you just got to tip your hat to their offense because they're able to just pick up third downs. But Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers, one of the most dangerous duos, if not the most dangerous duo in all of football, right up there with Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. It's just hard to stop this offense. And you got to give Matt LaFleur a lot of credit for how the play designs are there. There's so much movement pre-snap and even post-snap and it's misdirection that it's hard to keep up with these guys. And you watch that offense, Aaron Rodgers has a lot of easy throws. But I thought this defense did a nice job of making them one-dimensional for the most part. Really, it wasn't until that back-breaking run from Aaron Jones that I thought the defense just ran out of gas. It's hard to sack Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't throw interceptions, so it's hard to get interceptions off of him. I mean, he's a guy who rarely makes mistakes, which means you're going to have to play perfect football all game long, and that's difficult to do when you have as many weapons on the Green Bay offense to stop. So I know the Packers scored 30 points, and it sounds sort of crazy saying that the defense did an okay job today, but if I'm just going by how I felt watching them play today, until that big run from Aaron Jones, I was kind of okay with how the defense played. I thought they did what as best they could. The Packers offense had 23 points until late in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, to me, you got to be able to hold your head high after a performance like that.
Well, and Ike, I was going to ask what happened on that Aaron Jones touchdown, because like you said, that was a 77-yard run. Up until that point, the Eagles had managed to keep Green Bay pretty one-dimensional. I think they had about 70 yards on the ground until that point. Now they're finishing with 149. So the math is pretty close on that. After that 77-yard run from Aaron Jones, that seemed like they really had a hard time tackling him. You think that was just a matter of fatigue?
Yeah, a little bit of that, Amy and Fran, and also, I mean, at first glance, it looked like we might have brought a run pressure, bringing an extra guy, and then you get one guy out of position. And that's what happened, at that first level. Aaron Jones is in the open field, but now you got to bring him down. After that, it's about will. It's about being able to get to him. It's one thing to give up a big play. That play shouldn't have been a 70-yard touchdown run, but you could tell the pursuit wasn't there to bring him down and to get him on the ground. He had a convoy in front of him. He set up his blockers well in the open field, and he was able to get in the end zone. Really, I thought it was probably the worst play of the game for the defense.
When Ike mentioned the sacks, Fran, Aaron Rodgers sacked twice in this game by the Eagles defensive line. He had only been sacked 11 times this season leading up to that point. It was something that Green Bay has really improved on, protecting Aaron Rodgers. And of course, he also gets the ball out faster than ever, and that really helps those sack numbers as well. But the Eagles defense, like Ike said, did a pretty good job putting pressure on him. What did you think of the defense's performance overall?
Yeah, one of those sacks was he ran out of bounds, behind the line of scrimmage. So, you'll take that for sure if you're the Eagles defense. But I agree with Ike. Look, at the end of the day, if you look at this, They had 2 drives of 90 plus, right, that went for touchdowns, and you say, all right, well, you don't want that. You like that you're forcing them to have that. You don't like them finishing in the end zone there. Coming into the game, Aaron Rodgers, 24 touchdowns, no interceptions. Dave highlighted that on the kickoff show. He comes out and he continues that kind of success down inside the 20-yard line. But that touchdown run to Aaron Jones, Amy, it goes to the key to the game, right? They had the jet sweep on that play, the jet sweep action. That got linebackers out of their gaps. It just takes one guy to, not be in the right place. And now you've got a guy up at the 3rd level, and that's exactly what happened. And after that, Aaron Jones did the rest. So, good scheming there by the Packers, good execution. Aaron Rodgers, great talent. Great scheme, great talent. It's great offense.
That's what happens. Well, and I would also like to add, my key to the game was whoever wins the turnover battle will win this game, and unfortunately that was the Packers, but we'll say +1 for Amy's key hitting. Another thing I want to talk about is the secondary. We saw actually several injuries on this team, but Darius Slay being one of the big ones. We know that he had struggled this week with a calf injury. Throughout this week of practice, he had been limited. He went out with that knee injury. Really seemed to struggle with Davante Adams a little bit. Now, of course, Davante Adams is maybe the top receiver in the NFL right now, and it did seem to me like Slay was hobbled a little bit. I'm curious, Ike, what your takeaway was from, first of all, how the secondary performed, but then also with Slay going out and then Avonte Maddox going out after a really nice pass breakup on Davante Adams to save the touchdown there, just the limited secondary and the continuing to shuffle there.
Yeah, they struggled today, Amy. I mean, it's tough. I mean, Davante Adams is a very difficult man to guard, whether it's man-to-man, whether it's zone defense. He's probably, other than DeAndre Hopkins, he's one of the best in the game at being able to go up and make contested catches. He has strong hands. There are times when Darius Slay is in position to either get that ball.
All right, Ike, actually, I have to cut you off real
Adams.
quick because Coach Doug Peterson is at the podium. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time. We'll get started with Jimmy Kempski and then Ruben Frank. Or Ruben, if you're ready, go ahead.
Hey, Doug, can you just talk about why you made the switch early in the 3rd quarter? You're right there. Just went into the decision, and how hard is it to make that call?
Well, at the time, I just felt like where we were as an offense, we needed a spark. We needed something to kind of go our way, and so I decided to put Jalen in the game.
Jimmy and then Tim McManus.
Hey, Doug. Alshon now has 2 catches for 15 yards in 4 games. Meanwhile, Travis Fulgham has been the most productive receiver on the team this year. So why is Alshon playing more than Fulgham?
Kind of been through this before. We game plan for both guys. And we've got to get, we've got to improve as an offense. We got to improve, obviously at all positions. The receiver position is one. I've got to improve, so we try to get as many people in the game. We got 5 receivers that are active on game day, and we try to use them all.
Tim and then Jeff McClain.
Hey, Doug, who's going to start at quarterback for you against the Saints?
You guys are listening. You got to let me get through this game. You just heard me say we needed a spark in this game to try to get some things going. I've got to get through injuries. I got to get through the tape. There's a lot of things that I'm gonna consider and evaluate before before anything's decided. But look, opportunity arose, and like I said, we just needed that opportunity to get us back in a football game today, and we came up short.
Jeff and then Kristen Rogers.
Doug, has Carson Wentz's performance this season been affected by Jalen Hurts being behind him? Has he been looking over his shoulder?
Jeff, it's hard for me to answer that question because I'm not in Carson's shoes, but Carson's been obviously a professional about everything, this season with Jalen, helping Jalen. So it's hard for me to answer that.
Kristen and then Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Doug, how would you evaluate Jalen Hurts' play from that third quarter on?
Well, again, I got to look at the tape and evaluate it. He did some good things. Used his legs when he had to. Made a really nice throw to Greg Ward. Got us back in this football game that we needed, and that was the spark to kind of get us back into this football game. But I'll have to really evaluate the film to decide how he played overall.
Dave and then Bo.
Hey, Doug, to follow up on Jeff's question, I know you can't know what Carson is feeling internally, but as an organization, how much thought went into the Hurts pick from that aspect that it could have an adverse effect on your franchise quarterback?
It's hard for me to sit up here after a loss and go back to what I was thinking in April. It's really hard for me to do that, and I told you this week that I was definitely on board with the pick. I've told you that we always look at the position, quarterback position, each year, and we try to add value and talent, and that's you guys have been around me, and you know that every position we've got to try to. If we can provide a starter at a position, or we can provide quality backups, that's what we got to do, and that's what we did in this case.
Bo and then John McMullen.
How did you deliver the news to both Jalen and Carson that you were making the switch, and what was their reaction, and what was Carson's reaction after the game?
I just basically said Jalen was going in the next series. Carson was professional on the sideline. He helped Jalen. He was excited. When we got the 2 touchdowns there, one offensively and one on special teams. And obviously Carson was very supportive and helped Jalen on the sideline as we were, as coaches trying to communicate with Jalen on, the next series. So that was it.
John and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Doug, on Jalen, he kind of did give you that spark offensively, at least a little bit. How much does that pique your interest moving forward to see if I can get this guy first team reps and practice, how much better possibly he could perform?
Well, again, without going back or without looking, back at his performance and evaluating that, it's hard to say. But for today, obviously, gave us the spark we were looking for to get us, within a touchdown of possibly pulling out this game.
Zach and then Mike K.
Hi, Doug. At the time you made the change, was the plan for Jalen to finish the game? And then you've needed a spark before this week. What made this week different?
I decided to keep Jalen after his first series, just to kind of, keep his momentum going and see if we could get something started. I didn't want him to just be, a couple of plays here and there and pull him out. So that was the decision there. With keeping him in the football game. What was the second part of your question, Zach?
Yes, as far as the fact that in past weeks you've also needed a spark. What made this week different?
Oh yeah. Well, you look at the whole thing and listen. You know me, and you know that it's not necessarily about one guy each week, and we've had issues at other positions, and we got to perform better at other positions, and I just felt that we needed that spark today, whereas in the past, I felt like it was maybe more so. It could have been injuries at other spots. It could have been the way other positions had been playing. Not necessarily the quarterback's position at the time.
We have time for 2 more, so we'll go Mike and then Martin Frank.
Doug, Jalen Reagor had the explosive return in the punt game, had the explosive play down the field, At this point, do you feel like you guys have figured out how to use him, not properly, but the best you can at this point?
I think we're on the right track. I think there's still more that we can do. I mean, again, we got to be smart on how much we give him, and we don't want to overload him either. I just still want him to be able to play free, and that was a heck of a punt return, today, and I thought he, for the most part, got to go back and evaluate the film, but it looked like he played, pretty well offensively. So he was another bright spot tonight.
Go ahead, Martin.
Hey, Doug. How would you evaluate Carson's play today? I mean, especially on the sacks. I mean, did you think he was holding on to the ball too long? And also, as far as Hurts is concerned, I mean, how much of a factor when you're weighing, do you weigh it all where you guys stand in the division as to whether you stay with Hurts the rest of the season or next game even?
Yeah, on the sacks, I got to go back and look at the tape, see what if there were any breakdowns or, if we could have gotten the ball out, something of that nature. So I got to take a look at that. But I think as crazy as it sounds, we got 4 games left, and anything is possible. We just got to continue to work and got to just fight each week and see what happens here in the last month of the season.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Okay, Coach answering a lot of questions about the choice to put Jalen Hurts in, and he said, look, we needed a spark, we needed something to kind of get things going and to kind of go our way, and that was the choice that he made there, not commenting on what that means for the future. He's like, look, I have to get through this game, I need to look at the tape, I need to evaluate the play of both guys and the injuries, and we are actually going to send it back now to Green Bay as Jalen Mills is at the podium.
Hey, Jalen, thanks for your time. We'll get started here with Marcus Hayes and then Chris Franklin.
Hey, Jalen, can you explain? I think you shot the gap, a gap on the left side on the touchdown run, but as the play unfolded, I didn't see you re-enter the frame. I saw not Brett Favre, but Aaron Rodgers downfield blocking, and I was just wondering how and why you didn't get back in that play.
It was an opposite run on a blitz. The guy made I guess wherever the run was going, he shot the gap and he took out running. Like what is this question referring to?
It's referring to your effort made on a play that sealed the game for the other team, in which there were offensive linemen.
One thing. Listen. One thing that you can't never question is my effort at all. You can never question my effort, regardless of whatever. You can never question Jalen Mills' effort. Next question.
Chris and then Nick Fierro.
Jalen, what was the defense's reaction once Carson was benched, and I'm quite curious to see who you feel should be the quarterback next week.
I actually didn't know that Jalen was in to probably like the second or third series that he was in, just for the simple fact we was going over a lot of adjustments and different things like that on the sideline. Of course, he was out there making a couple plays, and when you're talking about who should be the starter, I think that decision is to Coach Doug and everybody upstairs as far as the offensive coordinator and things like that. So,
Nick and then Ed Kratz.
Hi, Jalen. That was going to kind of be my question, but I'll just follow up with that. In that, do you think that that when he did come in and he threw that touchdown pass on 4th down, that it really sparked all 3 phases? It looked like the defense really responded, and then the special teams, of course, had the punt return.
Yeah, of course, anytime we're giving ourselves a chance, to get back in the game or an opportunity to, maybe win the game, everybody's going to be excited. One thing I do know about this team, regardless of our record, regardless of any score, whether we've won or lost a game, we always fight to the end.
Ed and then Les.
Yeah, Hi, Jalen. Just what did you see from Darius Slay tonight? It looked like maybe the calf was bothering him a little bit. I mean, how do you think he did tonight?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about Slay, you're talking about a guy who comes in and work every day, and as far as this game goes, he made some plays, and when you're going against a guy like Devontae Adams, that guy is top 3, maybe top 5 receiver in his league. You know what I'm saying? That's not an easy task. Slay, he wears that hat, with pride and respectfully, and we know that. But at the end of the day, I don't know the injury. I didn't know what it was. I hope it's nothing serious. Just hope he can get 100% healthy for next week.
Les and then Chris Murray.
Hey, Jalen. How disappointing was it that when Hurts and Rieger got you guys within 7, you couldn't keep the score there for the offense? And it just looked like, in a lot of ways, the worst game for the defense in a while. After a couple good stops early, things kind of seemed to snowball. What did you see?
Yeah, it's definitely a little frustrating because we get to that point to where, like you said, we're right there. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to win here. It's hard to win, against that guy Aaron Rodgers. We just got to find a way to make, one more play, to try to get our offense on the field, one more time in that close score range and get them an opportunity to tie the game up.
We have time for one more, so we'll end it here on Chris.
Yeah. How do you guard against the idea that maybe the season is kind of getting away from you, or do you feel that the season is getting away from you? And if not the case, how are you guys guarding against that?
Yeah. Nah. At the end of the day, as crazy as it sounds, we're still in a fight. We want to win games, of course. That's what playing football is all about. That's what this league is all about, winning football games. But like I said, as crazy as it sounds, we're still in it. Kind of the message, it's 24-hour rule. We can't feel sorry for ourselves about this game, saying we almost did this, we almost did that, one play here, one play that. When we close our eyes and we wake up in the morning, we got to focus on the Saints because this is the team good on both, offense, defense, and special teams, and they're going to come in Philadelphia and they're going to come in and try to win. So we got to know that. Can't feel sorry for ourselves. We just got to get back to work.
Thanks, Jalen.
Yep, thank you.
Hey, Carson, thanks for taking the time. We'll get started here with Daniel Gallen and then Bo Wolf.
Hey, Carson. What was your reaction on the sideline when Doug put Jalen in the game? Where do you think things go from here for you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what the plan was fully. I was just told he was going in for the next play and next series, so I didn't really know what was going on there. But obviously that's frustrating as a competitor, and just the personality that I have. I want to be the guy out there, but it is what it is, and they made the call today, and at the end of the day, we lost. As a team, we lost, and that's what I think for me I'm most frustrated about. I don't like where we're at this season record-wise, and I know I can play better, and we can all be better going forward. But we got to clean some things up.
Bo and Pat Gallen.
Carson, what did Doug say to you after the game, and what is your expectation for who will be the starter moving forward?
Yeah, we haven't really talked yet, so we'll see what happens there. At the end of the day, it's outside of my control. Trusting them with their plan, trusting God with his plan, and I'm sure we'll talk here pretty soon.
Do you think you should be the starter?
Listen, that's not for me. I know what I'm capable of. I know I can play better. I never have doubted myself or lost my confidence in my abilities, but like I said, a lot of these things are outside of my control.
Pat and Rob Motti.
Carson, looking back at how the season has gone and hearing sort of the chatter that Jalen could take over for you at some point, is this something that you saw coming? Was it a shock to you?
Yeah, I never like to think like that. Obviously there's been a lot of chatter. I've had to, field a lot of questions, over the last handful of weeks, but I don't let my mind go there at the end of the day. I'm a competitor, and when I'm out on that field, whether it's practice or a walkthrough or a game, I'm going to leave it all on the field and do everything I can. And today that's what I did. I don't think I played my best, but I did everything I could, and at the end of the day, I came out of the game, and it's not my call.
Rob and then John McMullen.
Carson, do you feel this organization puts you in a position to succeed this season?
Listen, I mean, we've had a lot of things this year, and I know first and foremost I got to be better. I know I've watched the tape every single week, and there's plays out there every week that I know I can do better. I can get us into better situations, be more accurate, all those things. So I'm not the guy that's going to point fingers or anything. I know I can play better, I can do better, I can help lead this team better, and I think we all can do the same.
John and then Jeff Skversky.
Hey, Carson, Doug had mentioned that accountability and you standing in front of the team last week and talking about that. How do you think your teammates took it, and how's your relationship with Jalen Hurts? We don't get to see practice as much, but strange year.
Yeah, I mean, as far as accountability and all those things, I mean, we, those things are behind the closed doors. I think it was good for everybody just to be on the same page going forward and, take ownership of some things. But as far as Jalen, it's been a weird year. I mean, you just mentioned it. It's been a strange year. We have virtual meetings and all sorts of things that developing relationships with him and with everybody has been very tough. But, a lot of respect for him as a player, as a person, and as a competitor. And obviously that relationship will grow over the years.
Jeff Skversky and Zach Berman.
Hey, Carson, obviously, everyone has seen you play better. You believe you can play better. The Eagles a couple years ago, before your time with Donovan, benched him for a game and just to kind of almost clear his head. Do you think you could benefit potentially at all from maybe just having a game off just to clear your head with just everything that has gone wrong with this team and this offense?
I don't. I don't personally. It's not in my DNA. It's not in my competitive nature. So I feel we all can play better. I can play better, and we got to turn it around here real quick.
We have time for two more, so we'll go Zach Berman and then Mike Kay.
Hey, Carson, thanks for doing this. You said a few minutes ago, or you spoke about the questions you've been getting and the chatter that's around there. But really, this has been going on since the Eagles drafted Jalen. Did that pick, or has that pick and the presence of Jalen affected your performance this year?
No. I'm not the type to worry about and look over my shoulder or any of those things. I think at the end of the day, I can play better. We can, as a team and as an offense especially, play better. And there's always going to be different things going on in the building, or different chatter and all of that stuff. That's part of this business, and that's what I think I've said it a couple times. That's what I signed up for. The scrutiny, the challenges, the adversity, all of it. I got to handle it all, the good, bad, and the ugly.
Mike.
Carson, you guys wanted accountability. The leadership asked for accountability from Doug. Him giving up some of his play calling responsibilities, and maybe sitting you for the rest of the second half. Do you think that sends a message to the rest of the locker room about accountability?
It's a great question. As far as play calling and all of that stuff, I'm not sure what you mean exactly, but yeah, I mean, we're all trying to find ways to get this thing going in the right direction. And so Coach, as the leader of this team, obviously he's got the final say, and I think we can all learn from this one and get going here pretty quickly and turn this thing around.
Thanks for taking the time, Carson.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Jalen, thanks for taking the time. We'll get started here with Martin Frank and then Les Bowen.
So, Jalen, can you kind of just like talk us through you getting in there? Did you know at the time that you would be in for the rest of the game, and what was the reaction like?
You know, just going throughout the game. Like every game, I was just trying to stay attentive to what was going on. Staying alert for all the different adjustments we were making throughout the game, and my number was called, and it was an opportunity to go in there. Obviously, we came up short, but we got a great opportunity this week moving forward. So we're going to be working really hard to twist this thing around.
Les and then Jeff McLean.
Jalen, do you think you should be the starter against the Saints? And do you think you will be?
I'm trying to do what I can do for this team. I think that's as simple as that. Working hard every day, putting my best foot forward, and taking somebody with me. I'm trying to lead and just get this thing in the right direction. So anything that can help this team.
Did you think you should have gotten a chance before today?
Anything that can help this team.
Jeff and Chris Franklin.
Jalen, obviously coming in as a second-round pick when there's a franchise quarterback here can create an awkward dynamic, and obviously not being at the facility all the time and having all the COVID restrictions have made it difficult. How has Carson's treated you since you've been drafted?
I think it's been good. I've learned a lot of things from him. I'm sitting back and watching. You know, I think the bigger we lost this game today. You know, I think that irks everybody here. Every competitive, we all have competitive spirits. And moving forward, we got a 24-hour rule. You know, to sit here and digest everything that's happened today here in Green Bay, and after that, we move forward. We move forward. How that looks, you know, that's a question for Coach.
Chris and Tim McManus.
Jalen, you came in cold off the sideline. How would you assess your play today going against that Packers defense?
Not enough. Not enough. Not enough. We lost the game.
Tim and Ed Kratz.
Jalen, can you take us through your first career touchdown pass? So what did you see, and how was that feeling for you?
I mean, it was great. You know, on the bright side of things, I'm not going to be Debbie Downer right now, but it was a blessing. So it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. Get a throw a touchdown pass to one of my good friends, Greg Ward, my first one. So that was fun. It was fun.
Ed Kratz and Nick Fierro.
Hey, Jalen, it's been a while since you've been able to kind of get a rhythm in the game. How did it feel to develop that rhythm, playing several snaps? How beneficial was that for you?
Any experience and any opportunity to touch the field, it only kind of raises the value of that player. And it's kind of been that way all year. And, today Coach gave me that opportunity, with all my heart. Had every intention on coming in and getting it done and winning the game, but we came up short. And that only lights a fire in everybody, and everybody moving forward, however it looks, the objective in this game is to win. So just got to keep pushing and believe.
Nick and Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Jalen, when you did get in there and then you threw the touchdown, it seemed to spark like all three phases. The defense did really well with the stop, and then you get the punt return. How much do you take note of that, and does that kind of give you a boost?
Well, I think you create your own energy. And, as great as it was, as great as the spark that was, the things, that energy we had, moving forward, it's about what we do moving forward. I've always kind of had this saying I've gone by, so what, now what? regardless of whatever it is, how it looks, it's about how you respond. So I'm telling you, we're gonna be working our tail off. We're gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way. Everybody has it on their mind to get this thing done, and it comes down to your. I'm not gonna say that. It comes down to how bad you want it.
We have time for one more, so we'll end it here with Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Jalen, you arrived to Philadelphia to a team with an established quarterback. How did you handle that personally, approaching a situation that from the outside looks like it could have been very awkward?
Yeah. God has done so many things throughout my life. He's brought me so many places, and he's put me in so many situations. And I always told myself it's not something that you're stuck in, it's something you're going through. And whether it be the different adversities I experienced in college, or coming here to Philadelphia, it's a test of faith and patience. I think everybody has a good feel for my story, but in my heart, none of that matters right now. We still have an opportunity to do something we want to do as a team, and we just got to come together, believe, and go attack it, full head of steam.
Thanks, Jalen.
Okay, that is Jalen Hurts after today's performance. Both quarterbacks reiterating that they are competitors. They both want to do what they can to help the team. And Jalen Hurts taking several questions about the possible awkwardness of what took place in today's game. And he just kind of stopped everything and said, look, at the end of the day, we lost this game. A true competitor there trying to do everything he can to help put this team in a situation to win. All right, we are going to take a quick break here on the post-game show. On the other side, we have the Ricoh Review, the Jamison Nightcap, and the nominees for the Toyota Player of the Week. Stay with us. Well, if you joined us on the kickoff show, you got to see Eagles defensive tackle Javon Hargrave in an exclusive interview with Mike Quick from Pond Lahaki. And Hargrave is the subject of the Ricoh Review in tonight's play as well, with his sack on Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback who has not been sacked very much this season. Hargrave continuing to play better football in this Eagles defense. Let's take a look. Fran Duffy has more.
All right, let's take a look at the first defensive drive of the game, and this sack by defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. He's lined up here as the 3 technique against the left guard. In this game, it is Lucas Patrick, because coming into the game, Corey Linsley, Green Bay starting center, he's out. So that means you're going to move Elton Jenkins, the left guard, over to center. You're going to take the right guard, Lucas Patrick. You're going to move him over to his first start at left guard for this Green Bay team. So that's the one-on-one matchup, Hargrave against Lucas Patrick. You're going to have the center helping out on Fletcher Cox. That creates this one-on-one. Now, what Patrick's going to do, instead of taking a traditional pass set where he's going to drop back and vertical set, he's going to go with a quick set and try and get on top of Hargrave very fast. But what Hargrave does here is great, because when Lucas Patrick goes to shoot his hands, I want you to watch very closely, and we'll play it in slow motion. Watch as you see Hargrave hands. He's going to win with what's called a forklift. He's going to take his 2 hands and push the offensive lineman hands straight up into the air. That allows him to then win clean and get into the backfield. We're going to let this play, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Watch, both hands for the offensive lineman go right up in the air. Nice clean pass rush win there for Javon Hargrave. Good start for the Eagles defense in the first half. They gave up 2 touchdowns on the next couple drives, but good start there on the 3 and out to open the game.
Now now is your chance to vote for the Toyota Player of the Week. Go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com/Toyota Player of the Week to cast your vote and get a chance at a brand new Toyota. This week's nominees: Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert, Eagles wide receiver Jalen Reagor, and Eagles wide receiver Greg Ward. Goedert, of course, with this monster 41-yard reception there from Carson Wentz as Goedert continues to be on fire this season. When he's been healthy, he has been very productive. And let's talk about this guy, Jalen Reagor, the rookie, showing that explosiveness that was the reason the Eagles drafted him. 71 yards to the house on the return there. Very exciting. In my opinion, this is the exciting play of the game here, that return. And then, of course, Greg Ward, three catches on 5 targets, 57 yards, including this beautiful 32-yard touchdown reception from Jalen Hurts, the very first NFL passing touchdown from rookie quarterback Jalen Hurts. So 3 really great choices there, guys. I think my vote has to go to Jalen Reagor. A touchdown return on a punt return or a kickoff return. Pretty rare in the NFL. You don't see it that much. 7 yards to the house for the rookie here, showing that explosiveness, that elusiveness. He's getting my vote. Ike, who are you looking at here? You have no defensive players to choose from today, Ike. Who's it going to be?
Well, I'm going to go with Jalen Reagor. I think the young man, it's been a long season. He's had to answer questions about other receivers drafted in his class and being compared to them. And it's really been a little bit unfair because he's had to deal with some injuries. But it was nice to see him show why they drafted him in the first round and show that explosiveness. So the big play on 3rd down where he and Jalen Hurts connected to get the Eagles out of their own territory, and then obviously the 71-yard punt return to make this thing a 1-score game had us all thinking that the Eagles had a chance to win this game late after that punt return. So, yeah, I got to go with Jalen Reagor this week.
What about you, Fran?
I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to stay with Jalen Reagor as well. I think when you look at the big play on the touchdown, certainly great to see, right? Just a good sign for the rookie first-round pick to be able to make that big play on special teams, bring the Eagles within a score in this football game. We saw him track a deep ball as well. I'll go with Jalen Reagor.
It is unanimous here, but of course, be sure to cast your vote this week as well for a chance to win a free Toyota. All right, let's now move on to the Jameson Nightcap as we get ready to wrap this thing up. The next game for the Eagles, the New Orleans Saints, they will be in Philadelphia next week. They're 10-2 this season. They are first in the NFC South. Drew Brees out with a lot of rib injuries there. We wish him well, but Taysom Hill, starting quarterback for New Orleans today. Taysom Hill gets the win over the Atlanta Falcons, 21-16. Of course, the Eagles lead the series here, 16-12 overall, but recent history has not been good for the Eagles against the New Orleans Saints. The last meeting in January 2019, Eagles losing the divisional round. That was in New Orleans for that. This is also the NFL's top defense. Ike, you mentioned it earlier. What do you think this matchup is going to be like for the Eagles?
It's going to be a tough one. If you just start from their defensive side of the ball, they make you earn everything. Their front is very underrated. When you look at Cam Jordan, you look at the middle linebacker, who may arguably be the best linebacker in football, in Davis. And then you got Marshawn Lattimore out there at the corner. And then we all know and love former Eagle and former Saint, and now Saint again, Malcolm Jenkins over there. He's having a very good year. I believe he had an interception today, so it's hard to move the ball on them. And then Sean Payton, one of the best offensive minds in football. I got to give him a lot of credit. I wasn't buying into this Taysom Hill hype and whether or not you can win with him at quarterback. But each week he has gotten better as a thrower, and Sean Payton completely believes in him, and he's opening up that playbook for him. So this will be a difficult game for the Eagles. This is a very good football team. 2 years in a row, they've lost Drew Brees and haven't lost a beat, whether it was Teddy Bridgewater coming in or now Taysom Hill coming in. Saints are a very good football team.
Well, and Fran, we've seen Taysom Hill go from the NFL's most intriguing, possibly most dangerous gadget guy to now today they made a big deal about it on the broadcast, his first NFL passing touchdown. And as Ike mentioned, Sean Payton opening up the offense more and more for him. What kind of threat is he going to pose at quarterback there?
I mean, he's certainly a dual threat quarterback because he can beat you in a lot of different ways, with his arm, with his legs, inside of structure, outside of structure. They've got a lot of designed quarterback runs built into the offense for him. But that's the other thing is that we don't even know for sure that it's going to be Taysom Hill. It could be Drew Brees. And there have been reports over the last 24 hours pointing that he could be back as early as next week. And that's when he is eligible to return. Apparently, reports were saying that he was throwing a practice next week. So we'll all sit and wait to see who the quarterback is in New Orleans as well as we get ready for this week. Doesn't make my job much easier as I prepare to put together Eagles game plan for this week. But, that's no one's shedding any tears for me, for sure.
Well, imagine how much more complicated it makes the coach's job trying to put together a game plan when you're not sure which quarterback you're facing. Although that could go both ways possibly this week for the Saints and for the Eagles. We'll have to watch it all. Of course, we will be right back here next week, 45 minutes before that game. That game is at 4:25 p.m. The kickoff show presented by Exalta will be at 3:40, same as it was earlier today. And of course, we will be previewing the matchup and then right back here as soon as it's over for the post-game show presented by Ricoh for instant analysis and press conferences from coach and players as well. Until then, I hope everyone has a fantastic week. We will see you next Sunday.